Aloha, everybody. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap, Let Light Unite show. And this is January 24th, 2020. Where has this month gone to? So tonight I am bringing back Sara Markis, and we're going to talk about healing with herbs. And, she wrote this incredible book that took 25 years to write. And it's all about healing naturally. And I'm really excited to talk to her tonight about it.
Thank you, Cathy.
Welcome. I just want to jump right in to get to who you are. And so thank you for coming back on the show.
My pleasure. I enjoy it. So let's see if people can see the book.
That's good. You could probably hold up a little bit more. There we go. Okay.
Okay. And basically, it's over 100 unique natural herbal remedies. So these are things that over the last 30 years I've used in my family, with my kids, with different, friends and people. And I've seen tremendous success, tremendous results from. So I feel very comfortable recommending to anybody to try these. And I think that the more people realize what the herbs can actually do for them, more people will get involved in doing their own remedies.
Okay, now before we jump into the book, I want to tell everybody who you are. Okay, and all right, so because, this woman has done a lot, you guys, okay? Sara is a second-generation natural healer with over 27 years experience using her father, Dr. Wallach's natural nutrient protocols. And, many of you may have heard of Dr. Wallach. And I can't think of, what's the name of the company?
The company, the nutrient company, is Longevity. Okay. And his famous lecture is Dead Doctors Don't Lie.
Thank you. Now, she's a master gardener, a Reiki Master Practitioner, an Ayurvedic Practitioner, a Master Herbalist, and after her father has written 12 books on natural healing, which is incredible. Sara has written and published her first book on natural herbal remedies, each unique by Sara. So we're going to talk about that, but before, again, we jump into that, Sara, you were telling me about what a special day this is.
Yes. You and I have done energy work for years. And so I'm always looking at the calendar, what's going on as we're doing things. And tonight is the new moon, which people that are aware of the rhythm of the moon, when it's new moon, it means there's no moon in sight. And people that do creative intentionality and co-creation, they use the new moon to remove things out of their experience, out of their goals, whatever obstacles they want to take away. They do energy work on the new moon in regards to those things. And it just opens up a much more clear path going forward. And then on top of that, tomorrow is the Chinese New Year on the 25th. So we have back-to-back all this huge positive energy that we're removing all the obstacles, all the things that no longer serve us, and then jumping right into this 1.5 billion hearts celebrating their new year and taking the rest of the planet with them in this blessing. So anyone who does energy work, it behooves them to ride the wave.
And this is a good time to start like new beginnings. And as the new moon grows, they say it really manifests. And,
Yeah.
you know, your energy and what your dreams will manifest and grow stronger. Also, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've been told that the best time to cut your hair, if you're going to cut it, is between now and the full moon. And you don't cut it after the full moon when it's going back down to the new moon.
Yes. Yes. And there's a lot of things in the Farmer's Almanac that they do all kinds of planting or pruning or, preparing the soil according to the different rhythms of the different moons. So for the last 15 years, I've bought an almanac every year just to take a peek what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. Well, let's do the energy work. So what we're going to do, everybody, and, go get your crystals to amplify our work. And, I'm in my crystal store, and I've got sitting behind my big 1,000-pound crystal.
Yes.
So we're going to first clear everybody out real quick, and then we're going to do some protection, and then call in and open everybody up for some abundance and allow that to come in and manifest.
Beautiful.
All right. So for those of you going to participate, put your feet flat on the floor and sit straight up. Put your hands in your lap like you're going to receive, because you are. And I want you to start taking some deep breaths. I want you to inhale light and exhale out everything that no longer serves you. And imagine all that unwanted energy going through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. So do that until I tell you to stop, but don't hyperventilate on me. So I'm going to surround each and every one of you in a bubble of golden flame. I add to that the blue flame of protection, the violet flame of transmutation, the green flame of healing, and I'm going to seal you in the pink flame of love. And we're also going to invite all your teachers, guides, masters, all the angels, all the divine beings, cosmic beings that work with you, and invite them in. Add energy to what we're doing. And if they have any information or energy for you, I'm going to ask that you're open and they send it to you now, and that when you receive it, it's just very gentle, loving, kind energy. It's not going to knock your socks off. I need you to do the energy work, or just, hold space so you can receive, and just allow it to be a very gentle energy. All right. So take a deep breath, exhale out anything left. Allow yourself to reconnect with the Creator and just fill with that incredible high energy, and allow it to come into the top of your head, flow through your brain. And as it flows through your brain, feel every cell, atom, molecule of your brain reconnect to the Creator, so you become this really awakened spiritual being filled with all these new possibilities. And now allow that energy just to flow through your third eye, your throat, heart chakra, solar plexus, belly button, root, feet, hands, spine. Allow it just to flow down your legs, send it into the earth, and allow that energy to find its way to all the tree roots. And we're going to reoxygenate the trees as we're doing the work. And feel that energy flow down your arms, out your hands, down your spine, out all your chakras. I want you to feel totally consumed in this divine light. So we're going to call to Michael the Archangel to cut all ties to any dark force that is around you, or any human and any life form. And we tie and bind that dark force, send it through the violet flame to clean the energy up, send it back to the divine. We replace that energy with the energy of divine enlightenment. We ask any person who has evil intent around you exposes themselves in a way that you gently remove them from your circle of friends, making them a distance acquaintance. I ask that you fill up with so much light. You become a magnet for everything you need. You draw all the abundance to you to fulfill all your divine missions, live a comfortable life, and you pull in so much abundance that you have more than enough to share with others. So now we're going to activate the law of divine abundance with the help and knowledge of our Atlantean and Lemurian ancestors, spirit guides, ascended masters, angels, archangels, elementals, unicorns, gods and goddesses, everything that is connected to the Great Spirit. Call Archangel Michael and ask you to cut all low vibrations, negative ties and bonds to all energies, entities, and fears that we have accumulated in all our lifetimes, and to protect us always. I call the Ganesh to remove all blockages and to allow all light workers' life and work to flow easily, gracefully, and comfortably with love and divine abundance. Saint Germain, we call to you to allow all our low vibrations pass through the violet flame of transmutation and fill with the spaces with love. We call to the Christ consciousness in all of us to be activated and to help us find that inner peace and that inner child that brings us joy and to be reflected into our environments. I send love, hope, and peace to all people and entities throughout the universe to help them raise their own vibrations in their own time as everything happens in divine time and order. Call the higher self of all light workers and ask for you to cancel, nullify, and release all vows, curses, hexes, and low vibrations, negative overlays that are restricting you to move forward. I now see all light workers full of and radiating so much light that they become magnets again for everything they need. It's drawn to them from the universe. Now, in your mind's eye, see all light workers from around the globe in all levels of existence, reconnecting, communicating, sharing, helping, and healing each other so they can fulfill their divine missions with ease whilst helping raise the vibration of Mother Earth and Father Sky. Call for all light workers to attract only high vibrations, positive, loving, healthy relationship into their lives. We give thanks, love, light, gratitude, forgiveness, peace, compassion, joy, and oneness. Allow all this energy to start to integrate. And as that's happening, I call to everyone's higher self and ask that everyone's divine blueprint for perfect health is activated in everyone's bodies now. So let that energy integrate in a very gentle, kind, loving way with your cells, atoms, molecules, all the way down into your DNA. Okay.
Wow. Amazing. That was exactly what everybody needed, Cathy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I love when spirit, tells me what to do. And I listen. But thank you for guidance. I really wouldn't have been aware tonight. Sometimes we get caught up with doing so many things, it's hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah, and if you've noticed, a lot of this energy is moving faster and faster. And so it almost feels like unless you consciously try to slow everything down for ease, it just is running. And so sometimes we also have to just ask the universe to give us ease.
Oh, that makes sense. And look at it. We're already at almost the end of January.
I know, it feels like snap.
Yes. And I find my time, gosh, I have windows to do things. And if I do this, I can't do this. If I do this, I'm going to have to not do this. And it's all priorities, but it's all about time. Everything takes time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's so important time compartmentally to organize and set up different projects and just do like 15 minutes on Mondays, this, 15 minutes on Tuesdays, this. And that's how I'm able to get so many projects done, even though sometimes it takes, 25 years to write a book. But it got done.
All right, let's get to the book now. All right, so let's start off because, it's healing with herbs. And what are your favorite herbs?
Okay, we started last week to go over what are my favorite herbs. And so calendula, chamomile, broadleaf plantain, dandelion, and I'm going to choose comfrey, even though we could choose thousands of different herbs. And I'm just briefly going to give some healing properties for each one of them. So calendula, from the NIH.gov site, there's studies that they've done on certain herbs because they're just famous for what they can do. So calendula is mentioned in Ayurvedics, which is over 12,000 years old. Calendula is antipyretic, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It's a renowned wound healer against bug bites, burns, cuts, boils, rashes. It is taken internally or externally, and it's fully edible. The next one is chamomile, also from the NIH.gov, another study they did on chamomile. It's one of the most ancient medicinal herbs. Excuse me. You can make tea, tonic, essential oils, poultice. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It helps digestion and skin as a relaxant and calming agent. It has antioxidant and anti-cancer activity. The flavonoids in the herb prevent heart risk. So it also is very, gentle but effective and edible, fully edible. The next one is broadleaf plantain. And this I took from a Native American site because it's a famous Native American herb. And they say Native Americans have a very long history with broadleaf plantain to heal wounds, burns. It stops bleeding topically or internally. They have used it for many, many eons against ulcers, to draw toxins out of bug bites and even snake bites, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, accelerates healing internally or externally. It has certain enzymes that help skin tissue regeneration. It's extremely gentle, fully non-toxic, fully edible. So are you noticing a pattern here of the herbs that I'm using? Okay, the next one is dandelion. And I took this little explanation from Chestnut Traditional Medicinals. They're often on Facebook. They have a whole school as well, online school. So dandelion is wild bitter, which stimulates the liver and causes natural detox. The bitter compounds stimulate taste buds, setting off digestive juices from the mouth and saliva to the bile, which is right around your stomach, between the stomach and the liver. And this helps break down different fats and flushes waste throughout the body, making it one of the most valuable, gentle, general tonics in the Western herbalism. It's also fully edible. Every part of the plant is edible, so internally or externally. So you see the top 4 are absolutely fully edible. The next one and last one that we'll discuss tonight is comfrey. From WebMD, they say it's famous for use on sprains and bruising. As a topical poultice, it's very helpful in reducing extreme swelling and pain. Also for broken bones, as long as the skin is not broken or lacerated, because the one concern that comfrey has is it should not be taken regularly internally, because there is an alkaloid, pyrrolizidine. Alkaloids can cause liver damage by extended internal use, which when you have lacerated skin, it can go internally. So as long as you don't have broken skin and you're using it for 10 to 14 days topically, and then you take a week off, and then you can use it again, it is very, very effective for reducing swelling, which is usually what causes the pain in a wound. Okay.
We're talking with the other first few herbs you were talking about. You know, when you asked, was there a pattern? Yes, they weren't toxic. And it didn't sound like there was like a lot of nasty side effects, like it could kill you, like the doctor's drugs can.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I just want to give you an idea of what my book has in regards to recipes using these. So, of course, calendula comes up at the top with 27 recipes in my book. The next one is chamomile, 13 recipes. The next one is plantain, has 4 recipes. Dandelion has 4 recipes, and comfrey has 3 recipes. So the top 2 is the calendula and chamomile, because we can pretty much guarantee that no one is going to have a bad side effect. Now, the main way to tell in regards to herbs for any kind of allergic reaction is whatever you make, whether you make tonic or salve or lotion, you know, something, you're going to take the inside of your wrist and just dab a little bit on your inside wrist. And you're going to watch it for 10, 20 minutes to see if there's any rash, any redness, any kind of sensitivity. And you're going to do this for yourself or your children, your spouse, because you want to know that they don't have a reaction to it before you use it. So what a lot of people will do is just boil up the herb like a tea, steep it, put it on the wrist, see what the reaction is. So you haven't invested a lot of time and money and effort to double check.
Are these herbs easy to grow?
They're easy to get. It would take someone that's an herbalist to really grow these. Now, of course, broadleaf plantain and dandelion are common weeds everywhere. And this is a gift of nature that even with all the chemicals, they refuse to die. They refuse to disappear.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are there different types of dandelions?
Nope, there's only one type.
Okay.
There are different hybrids, but they are all the same family, and they are all non-toxic. So even if we have dandelions in the United States, and then there's dandelions in Europe or Asia, it's the same family, and they're all the same thing, non-toxic, completely non-toxic. The only thing that people really need to pay attention with gathering wild herbs is that it's not along the highways and streets. There's a lot of pollution. You have to make sure that there's no heavy spraying of chemicals. It should be something that you have not put chemicals and is totally apart, like your backyard or a big field or a big park that they are not spraying on, that kind of thing. You have to make sure that there is no way the toxins are near the plant, because you don't want to ingest any extra chemicals. Now, there's a lot of mountains in the United States and Europe and other nations that specifically have organic farms for these kind of things. So the chances of toxins and chemicals is very, very small. And the more protected these areas are, the more sure, that the supplies are clean and clear. So and if you want to go to the next question, because it's something that I really want to discuss.
Okay, well, what's the most lethal disease to you?
Okay, it's not just to me, it's to my father's research, which is a national treasure in the States. He was invited by the US government and NIH to do a study on environmental toxins. And over thousands and thousands of autopsies on zoo animals, livestock animals, pets, and being in collaboration with people dying around the country, the different lab work and, forensics and that kind of thing. What he found was that if people did not die a violent death or trauma, like car accident, they died of nutritional deficiency. And what he was able to do is map out which deficiency manifested as a disease, whether it was diabetes or high blood pressure or, liver disease or heart disease. These are all deficiency diseases. And so there's over 900 deficiency diseases that people can die of. And if they're not living to 100 or 120 years of age, they are being killed by deficiencies. So deficiency is the most lethal disease because most people don't realize they're deficient.
Is there some kind of test people can take to find out what they're deficient?
Well, the easy way is if they're sick. If they have arthritis, if they have heart disease, if they have diabetes, if they have, so many things that manifest, fibromyalgia, all kinds of growth issues, even with children, if they're not thriving, etc. They're deficient because otherwise the disease wouldn't manifest. So that's number one. Number two, there are blood tests and there are hair tests, that if you take from the nape of the neck, and it cannot be colored hair, meaning anyone that does hair coloring, it would not be, it would not show properly the test. So it would have to be some kind of bodily hair, and it would have to be in the amount of like a tablespoon of hair balled up. So that's quite a bit of hair. So that would be sent to special labs, and they would be able to give you a breakdown of which minerals you have and which ones you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's helpful, but most people, according to my father, should assume they are deficient and start taking their 90 essential nutrients every day. And within 6 months to a year of taking those nutrients every day, you can pretty much tell by your energy level, and all the body and organs and hormones and everything are starting to balance, that you're on the right track.
Well, do the herbs have nutrients?
Okay, that is a very important question. And why? Because minerals are not found uniformly around the earth. They are like chocolate strips. You know, some areas are very mineral dense and other areas are not. And so if you are not putting those minerals onto your crops and there are no minerals in the soil, the plants growing there will not have a full array of minerals. And so there are certain blue areas around the world that it's known that they traditionally live over 100 years of age because they are taking water that's glacial milk, which has over 40 minerals in the water. And more importantly, they are watering their crops and their livestock with that. And through photosynthesis, the plants are absorbing all that mineral. And this is centuries they're doing this. So it's already in the soil, it's in the plants, it's in their water, it's in their bodies. And it's just this beautiful cycle. And so they're usually up in the mountains somewhere, Georgia, Russia, or, you know, two places in South America and, you know, Tibet. These places are all up in the mountains, usually glacial milks, and they're far away from any kind of chemicals or doctors or hospitals, and they don't need it because when the body has the raw materials, everything stays in balance. And so, you know, that's what's really important to know about the herbs or even food compared to nutrients. So most plants have vitamins, but you're not even going to absorb properly the enzymes and vitamins unless you're taking 60 minerals every day. And so that's the huge importance of my father's research. He was able to map this out. He was able to find one of the best plant-derived shale sources for minerals. That means it's already photosynthesized, 99% absorbable to our bodies. And so it's in easy form, liquid or capsules. And by taking these nutrients, you know you're getting the full spectrum that your body needs. And then when you add the herbs, whether topically or internally, you're actually using the enzymes to naturally treat different symptoms that you have. So it's not toxic and usually very little side effects. Certain herbs you have to be more careful, but that's the beauty of having so much experience and doing a book like this, that people can follow a safe path and know that their children and their toddlers and their babies and their family are safely going to see good results.
Can you give us a recipe?
Okay, I can give you a recipe. What I do want to read, though, is, again, an important notice about the nutrients and about the importance of the herbs. So, important. The essential 90 nutrients are essential. They should be taken every day, every day. Our cells in our body are regenerating every 21 days. To be at their optimum, you should be giving yourself the 90 nutrients every day, and this gives vitality and preventative good health. Herbs and herbal remedies are mostly to alleviate symptoms and to aid the healing process. To accelerate your healing, use herbal remedies along with the 90 essential nutrients. Life happens, bumps, bruises, breaks, and sneezes, so prevention and nurturing are the idyllic goal, cannot be emphasized enough. So, I'm going to give you a calendula rose and honey lotion recipe. So if everybody wants to get their pen and paper and start writing, so you have it. So the utensils you would need are glass jars, a skillet, a glass bowl, spatula, and stick blender. And I like using the silicone spatulas because when you're heating these things up to mix them, it just is safer to know that the silicone can withstand the heat. And so the ingredients would be cocoa butter, 2 ounces, calendula infused oil, 2 ounces, honey, 3 tablespoons, glycerin, 2 tablespoons, plant-derived minerals, 1 ounce liquid, rose essential oil, 10 to 20 drops, natural preservative, 1/4 teaspoon, emulsifying wax, 1.5 teaspoons. So the instructions would be, you would put your skillet on a medium heat filled with 1/3 water in the skillet. And you turn the medium heat on. You place a glass bowl about this size in the middle of the water and on the skillet. So what you're doing is creating a double boiler. And you would put your cocoa butter, your calendula infused oil, your honey, your glycerin, your plant-derived mineral liquid into that bowl, and you mix slowly with the spatula until it's all melted together. Once it's melted and mixed, you're going to take the glass bowl off of the skillet, put it onto a towel on a table or counter. You let it cool till it's warm, not hot, warm. And at that point, you're going to add the rose essential oil and your natural preservative, because you don't want it at high heat. You want to mix these as it's cooling. You take a stick blender and slowly add your emulsifying wax. It's these little chips of wax. And you're going to take the stick blender and slowly mix it in. So you take half of the 1.5 teaspoons. So maybe, half a teaspoon, mix it with the stick blender. Then add a little bit more, mix it. Add the rest of it, mix it. You're going to see the consistency. It should be a lotion.
When you say stick blender, and I'm sorry, I'm so out there. What do you mean by stick blender?
They have these long-handled blenders that the blender bottom is at the bottom. And what they used to use these for were for milkshakes.
Okay, but it's a hand thing with a crank on it?
No crank. It's automatic. It's got like a little button, and it stands about 12 inches. It's about 12 inches long, narrow. It's got a little button to turn the blender at the bottom.
Oh.
Okay. And what you're doing is sticking it into your bowl, and you're able to use it like a wand and mix your things. And it's just very easy, because then you don't need to pour it into a blender and then scrape the sides of the blender. It's much easier in the bowl. So you can easily get it wherever you get appliances.
Okay, all right.
Okay. All the major companies make it. So at any rate, you take this and you blend these emulsifying wax into everything until the consistency is a firm lotion. And then you take your spatula and put it into your glass jars. Now, you label and date it, and this lotion should last 4 to 6 months in a cool, dark place, which basically means your bathroom, medicine cabinet, or your vanity or something. It just should not be in direct sunlight, because it just is a lot of stress on whatever remedies you're making. Now, I want to backtrack in regards to the jars. And at the beginning of the book, it says how to use the book. It discusses the importance of sterilizing your glass jars so that your remedy is going to be protected, that you're not going to be growing bacteria, which is why we're also putting natural preservatives in. Okay, and so what most people use is the home canning sterilization methods. And so I'm just going to read off what simplycanning.com recommends for canning techniques of pre-sterilizing your glass jars. You place empty jars right side up on a rack in a boiling water canner. And what that is this big gray enameled pot with the lid, and it has like a plastic rack to hold your jars so they don't bounce around when it's boiling. And you're going to stack them in there and then fill the canner and the jars, the open jars or bottles, with hot water. It's not boiling water. You'll take hot water either from the sink or from, kettle. And you're going to fill your jars and fill the canner up to 1 inch above the top of the jars. You bring that whole thing to boil for a full 10 minutes. Now, for this big canner, even with hot water, it'll probably take an hour to reach boiling. So don't think it's going to take 10 minutes. It's going to take about an hour till you reach boiling. And then 10 minutes boiling, you put the timer as soon as you see it boiling. 10 minutes, you shut it off. And then there's special tongs, canning tongs, that are rubber coated so the glass jars don't slip. And you gently pick them one at a time and pour out the hot water. Put them upside down on a clean towel on a table or a counter. And you're going to let them air dry and then prepare your remedy and then fill it right away. If you leave it more than 6 hours, you need to re-sterilize.
Wow.
Okay, so as you're doing things, you have to prepare time-wise that you've prepared everything, all your jars, all of your utensils, all of your ingredients, so that you make a run with it. So I discuss in How to Use the Book that most herbalists make their remedies twice a year, spring or fall. So spring, summer, fall, winter. And that's just practical and, usual. There are some that are really on top of it, and they do 4 seasons, 4 different runs. But I would say the majority, they just do 2 runs. And so as you start trying different remedies and different ideas, you'll see which things you want to prepare for the spring and for the fall. Okay, so just to add, boil lids or tops separately in like a saucepan, and then, let the whole thing cool until you're ready to use it. Okay, and I think I think it's important just to go over what is my main mission for writing my books, because volume 2 will be coming. It was supposed to go in 1 volume, but it was just so much. Like, I'd rather break it up, and when people are used to the first volume, they can go into the second one. And what I have seen growing up in country life and, natural living and knowing all these natural nutrient protocols, my family has hardly ever been sick, which is a blessing, but it's an educated blessing. And so it's something that I feel is very important to share with other people, because they are so bombarded by chemicals in stores, chemicals, wherever they're seeking, any kind of remedy. The doctors, the nurses, the schools, everything is geared towards chemical. And so people wonder, like, where they get these sensitivities and skin rashes and eczemas and other, harsher and harsher issues. And if they just knew good basics, they could prevent so much pain and, hard times. So that's the real mission, why I'm writing these books, so that they have actual recipes how to make these things from natural sources, mixing them with things that will actually create amazing healing. Now, let me just share with you a real quick story on one of my wild tomcats in Florida. I had him more or less, near the house all the time. And he finally grew up enough that he decided to fight another tomcat. Well, his whole cheek was torn up, and you could see the muscle of his cheek, total fur gone. And he crawled back to my front door and just laid there in front of the door. So wrapped him up in a towel so he wouldn't scratch me or dig his claws into me when I'm trying to help him. And I took calendula lotion, a Q-tip, and I just dabbed it very heavy all over, gently, gently, gently on his raw cheek. And we're talking like golf ball size, which is almost his whole cheek. And I thought, for sure, he's not going to have any fur left. He's just going to have maybe skin grow back. Well, within 3 weeks, you could not tell that he had ever been in a fight. His skin grew back, his hair grew back, everything filled in. You couldn't tell he had been in a horrible fight with another tomcat.
Wow.
That's how regenerative the calendula is. It helps renew at the lowest, bottom layer of skin to heal it. So these are things that most people don't know, have never experienced, have never seen it.
It's helping people remember a lot of the lost arts that we've forgotten. And,
Yep.
Great grandmas and beyond that, this is what they used to do.
Exactly. Now, just real quick, because we put it in the description, the big secret why people do their own remedies is they know exactly what's in it. They know the strength of it. They know they didn't dilute it. They know exactly what's in it. And that's why people prefer to make their own remedies than even to buy things. Because even, really good companies, they'll start out at a certain strength, and then little by little, the price of the supplies goes up or whatever. So they start reducing how much is in the actual remedy. For instance, CoQ10, it used to be like $200 for 16 ounces. All of a sudden, it went up to over $1,400 for 16 ounces. So most suppliers could not keep putting CoQ10. And this is why all of a sudden, the last 10 years, almost nothing had CoQ10 anymore.
Wow, well, that makes sense. I mean, I went to the grocery store yesterday and everything's gone up in price. Everything. It blew me away. And not just like 50 cents, but $1, $2. Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you want a certain result for your babies or children or family, you want a certain strength of these herbs. And
I know we don't have a lot of time. And do you make these up to sell already?
Not yet. That's something to think about for the future, because these are amazing, amazing recipes. But for now, we are going to be offering workshops, so they can buy the remedy supplies. So I would probably do like Mother's Day remedy workshop, or a bridal remedy workshop, or a baby shower, or a Father's Day. Probably about 4 different workshops that they could theoretically purchase the supplies and go through the workshop to make their own remedy and take it home.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yes, it would be awesome.
Peeps together, and oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yes.
Oh, What a different home party.
Yes. Now, you and I, because of our crystal background, we would also be able to add crystals to the remedies, to put it in the jar with it, to add, the crystal healing into whatever you're working with. And except for maybe 3 stones that you have to worry about as toxic, malachite, salt crystal, because it dissolves, and I think there's maybe one more that I can't think of right now, but there's only about 3 crystals that you really have to be careful not to mix with water or anything that you're going to put on your skin. But regular quartz crystal, rose quartz, amethyst, these are beautiful crystals to put into the tonics and lotions, and just adds so much.
Well, we've run out of time, so how can people order your book?
Okay, they can message me on Facebook is probably the easiest, or on Facebook I have my Sara's Ayurvedic Herb Journey of the Mirror site that has my store number and my cell phone and my store address.
And you're out of Indiana?
Yes, Fort Wayne, Indiana. We're center, of north, south, east, west.
For all those people that are out there, go visit it. It's really a cool thing, and you get a lot of. Are you there most of the time?
I'm here usually 6 days a week, and it's interesting because I'm back to back with a crystal store that's been here for 10 years.
Oh, perfect.
Exactly. So I'm nutrient and remedies, and she's crystals and readings.
Oh,
So
wow. Beautiful balance.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming on. And this is Sara Markis. And guys, her book is awesome. What's the name of it again?
Earth Song. It's kind of a long title here. And let me read it out. Natural and Traditional Earth Song Herbal Remedies.
Perfect. And on that high note, everybody, we're going to say good night. I hope you have a great week. And this is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite on UPRN Radio. I think I forgot to say that in the beginning, so I know I said it at the end. And we will catch you next week, same time, depending on where you're at. And most people are already into tomorrow. I'm still working my way there. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Sara. This hour's done, but we're going to have to bring you on again and talk more about it.
Yes, there's so much there. That's what's exciting.
All right. Good night.
Good night.